It's go time, Washington Commanders Nation. The Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions both had their season come to a conclusion today. AFC Championship and NFC Championship. The Ravens lost to Mahomes and the Chiefs, and the Lions give up a 17-point lead and lose by 3 to the San Francisco 49ers. They had it in the bag. Biting kneecaps, Motor City Dan Campbell let his nuts hang a little too far today, and the aggression in that mindset absolutely shot them in the foot. It was a self-inflicted loss, but Washington ain't mad at that result at all because now we don't have to wait until February 12th to hire our head coach. We're going to interview the Ravens guys tomorrow, Anthony Weaver and Mike Macdonald. And then Tuesday, we get to speak to the Lions guys and Dan Quinn. But you know the vibrations. After we interview Weaver tomorrow alongside Macdonald, Rooney Rule fulfilled. Washington can go ahead and hire their head coach when they speak to him Tuesday. And if you don't know who that is by now, they even said it on the goddamn broadcast today. Here's Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. He's expected to be named the next Washington Commanders head coach. That shit hit different. I had to run it back and hear it one more time after they said it just to make sure I was hearing correctly. But if you don't understand that there's a clear dog in the fight, you're not paying attention. All these interviews we're doing with these guys are in ashy-ass Commanders Park in Ashburn, Virginia. We are flying out to Motown, to Detroit, to talk to Ben Johnson. Everybody else, we've brought them into our dusty-ass setup here at Ortho Virginia Training Center at Ashburn Park. But we're going to Ben Johnson's house. What don't you see about we know who's getting the job? Like I was saying in my video earlier, we're speed dating. We're speed dating, but we already have an idea of who we're going home with at the end of the night. It's inevitable. It's a foregone conclusion, and I appreciate that we actually still went through with the process, but it's now official. Mike Macdonald's on the table. Seattle, have fun with that. I don't know why you would hire Dan Quinn when you can get 17 years younger and more upside Dan Quinn and Mike Macdonald. He will be a dog for the secondary over there with Quandre Diggs and Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen and company. He can make you another Legion of Boom, and you're going to have a young coach to grow with. You just had the oldest coach in the league. You're going to the youngest coach in the league. Congratulations. Kumbaya. Y'all have fun with that. Benjamin David Johnson, come on down. It is time to take the reins as the head coach of the Washington Commanders. And he went out with a bang today in the NFC Championship. They came out and jumped out to a 24-7 lead. Despite the fact that they gave up this lead and unnecessarily went for fourth down more times than they should have, the play calls were on point. The scheme was on point the whole game. He toyed with that San Francisco 49ers defense for 4 quarters. Jared Goff gets a couple of throws back. Josh Reynolds doesn't turn into the ultimate salesman. They win this game today. Receivers screamed open all day. The run game, effective all day. The tight end evolved all day. Dropped a couple passes. Laporta and Josh Reynolds definitely sold them. I think they might have played San Francisco 49ers money line parlay today because they were selling on dudes. But that all comes down to Dan Campbell. Macdonald, I'm not mad at the way that they performed at all today. You lost to Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes and the Chiefs came out, got 17 quick points in the first half. The Ravens shut them down in the second half, but they did their shit. They at home kept Mahomes and the Chiefs under 20 points. Lamar sold today. Zay Flowers sold today. And the Chiefs took the lead, never looked back. They had the game in the bag pretty much the whole time. These two coordinators, it's funny that they're the last two guys hired because I would say these are the two best hirings of this hiring cycle coming up this week. And there's a reason why Seattle and Washington both waited for him. This is the upper echelon. This is the creme de la creme. These are the two youngest, highest upside coaching candidates in the 2024 hiring cycle. And Washington and Seattle should be all over it. I'm expecting a Ben Johnson press conference by Thursday morning. Stat. The Senior Bowl starts tomorrow in Mobile. Our scouts are going to be out there. Adam Peters may be out there, but probably not because he got to interview like 5 motherfuckers in the next 48 hours. We got to get the ball rolling. So I imagine Magic Johnson, Mitchell Rails and company, they're coming up to Detroit. They're stepping off the jet, suitcase in hand, contract in hand, parameters all laid out. Ben, pack your family up. Hop on the jet. We got to go back because we got to get y'all asses out to Mobile, and we got to get you ready for your introductory presser on Thursday. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get our guy. We know who it is. I've been seeing media, John Keim and Chris Russell, guys I like. I like the Rooster. I like John Keim and company. They're all doing this thing where it's very boomer. It's very get off my lawn. Everybody wants a young offensive coach, but how do we know he can lead men? Because being a great teacher is a way to lead men. Being an adamant professional is a way to lead men. Being a clear communicator is a way to lead men. Ron Rivera was a leader of men and a failure at X's and O's. Ron Rivera has very low football IQ, but he has very high leader of men skills. He led us from 3 wins all the way to 4 wins on his way out. You know what can lead men? Winning. You know what changes cultures? A savant. Smartest guy in the room, always a step ahead of his opponent's head coach. Sean McVay ain't had a problem leading men. Mike McDaniel ain't had a problem leading men. Kyle Shanahan's back in the Super Bowl. Zach Taylor's been to a Super Bowl. Mike McDaniel runs one of the best offenses in the league in Miami, and that locker room would run through a fucking wall for him. They aren't rah-rah. They aren't stick my chest out and say a Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech every Sunday before the game. There is more than one way to skin a cat. And in 2024, you need a younger offensive mind if you want to compete against the Andy Reids of the world. Andy Reid's not young, but his concepts are. His concepts are. The way that he calls offense, it evolves. Andy Reid is the exception of boomer culture, because boomer culture is we know one way to do things and everything around us needs to acquiesce and form to the way that we have structure, instead of working to the talent that you select. You make the talent conform to you, and it's why a lot of boomers do not succeed nowadays. Look at the 2024 hiring cycle. Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick are about to be at home. Dan Quinn is probably about to be at home. Young guys, Brian Callahan, Dave Canales, Mike Macdonald, Ben Johnson, Gerard Mayo. Youth infusion. We're moving out of the stone age of stubborn old hard asses to X's and O's wizards, detail-oriented savants. And Washington is about to get the bell of the ball in the incoming 48 hours. Be on the lookout for a notification. That junk gonna hit like 80s blue magic. Ben Johnson has been named head coach of the Washington Commanders. It's coming in the next couple days, and I'm expecting the introductory presser to hit by Thursday or Friday. Let's not wait till Monday of Super Bowl week. We're not doing intro pressers Super Bowl week. Well, there is an off week next week, so they could do it next week. But fuck all that. I want Ben Johnson on the jet all week. I want him on the jet from Detroit to Ashburn. I want him on the jet from Ashburn to Mobile to get out there for Senior Bowl week. Get out there and mix it up with the GM and go look at some of these players. I want him on the job by the weekend. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. Ben Johnson, come on down. Let's do our due diligence first. Let's talk to Anthony Weaver. Let's say, Anthony Weaver, if we hire an offensive guy, you're the D-line coach in Baltimore. You may get the bump up and stay in Baltimore. But before they give you a chance to do that, would you like to be the defensive coordinator for Ben Johnson here in DC? And if that don't work, you make the call down to Dallas. Hey, Dan Quinn, Seattle passed on you for a head coaching job. We spoke to you 3 times. I understand you're cool where you're at, but do you want a change of scenery? Because it's not a linear move if you come over to be our defensive coordinator if we give you a pay raise and we give you a title elevation. Assistant to the head coach, defensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. Double dip on the coaching cycle. Make your enemies weaker. Bring Ben Johnson and Dan Quinn. Let's get on this shit. I want videos of Ben Johnson and family touching down to Ashburn Stat. I need it. I need it. And I need to know how the rest of that staff's going to fill out. And I need to know how the rest of this front office is going to fill out. We finally get answers. I was rooting for you, Ben. I wanted y'all to win it all. I wanted you to get a taste of that Super Bowl feeling. But it makes it easier for us now that you lost because we can get the ball rolling, and in the next 48 hours, you will officially be a Washington Commander. Will I be heartbroken if it's not Ben Johnson? No, but I do expect it to be him. And if it's not him, it better be Mike Macdonald because I am not interested in a retread here in DC. Ben Johnson, Mike Macdonald, now available to interview and be hired for jobs. Washington has to interview one more minority candidate in person before they can announce their coach hire, and that will be done tomorrow when we meet with both Ravens coordinators, Mike Macdonald and Anthony Weaver. Once we interview Anthony Weaver, at that point, Washington can then offer the job to whoever they like. And all signs are pointing to Benjamin David Johnson, offensive coordinator, Detroit Lions. Could be wrong. Don't think I am. We'll see in a couple days. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Until next time, Rio out.